It's Sounders match day, and the appetizer for the Sounders against the Portland Timbers is the Sounders women and the Santa Clarita Blue Heat. The Sounders women looking to bounce back from their first loss of the season tonight take on the Blue Heat, last year's W League Western Conference champion. Hello everybody and welcome back to Starfire. I'm John Billings with you here once again as the Sounders women take on the Santa Clarita Blue Heat tonight here. Actually, it's an afternoon game, a Sunday 1 o'clock kickoff here at Starfire, and the crowd's still trickling their way in as the Jet City Auxiliary set up behind me. Well, Sounders fans will know that they take their first loss on last Wednesday. That was against the Pally Blues, the #1 team, undefeated team in the Western Conference. But in this league, the W League, you just bounce right back. So another game right away against last year's Western Conference champions, the Santa Clarita Blue Heat. In this case, with the Wednesday game, the Sounders had one day, Friday morning, to train before they take on the Blue Heat today on Sunday. Now the Blue Heat, well, it's even tougher for them. They're on a 3-game road trip up through the Northwest. They started it off against Victoria, then on Friday they played against the Vancouver Whitecaps, and then just 2 days later, this Sunday game against the Sounders. Well, I caught up with both head coaches, just a couple moments ago. Of course, Michelle French for the Sounders women and Charles Martinez for the Blue Heat, and asked them, with really no time in between games, how do you prepare your team to pick it up after a loss?
I think we feel good. I think we want to get back out on the field based on our last performance. So we've had some good film sessions where the players have watched and given them a couple of keys to focus on and look at in hopes of playing a little bit better today.
Santa Clarita comes in as one of the top teams in the league last season, this year up and down, but we've talked about really the focus being you guys. So what is the focus for the team, and what do you need to do to make sure you get the W?
Well, I think it's understanding we've only got 2 home games left, so we've got to get as many points as we can when we have, after 5 more games on the road. So I think it's putting our best product on the field, and I think it's coming with a mentality that we seemed to lack a little bit last game. So I think if we do those 2 things, I think we'll be at least successful in our minds today.
Well, that's one of the key things up here. So you got to realize that you got to think quick in order to make the things work. It all depends the opponent. Most of the times when you have an opponent which is kind of strong, you have to adjust your formation in order to be a little more smart and a little bit aware of what situations that can happen. But in our case, I think the season is kind of too short, and when you go out for these trips, what happens is you have no practices. So the only thing you're going to do in order to recover this is just let the kids play, rest, and then explain them what's gonna be in the next step.
Sounders women led by Hope Solo. She'll start in goal today. And the rest of the lineup as such, from left to right across the back: Stephanie Cox, Lindsay Johnson, Kate Dynas, and Annie Sittauer. In the midfield, Keelan Winters will be the holding midfielder. In front of her is Julia Roberts, Megan Rapino, and Veronica Perez. Over to Santa Clarita now as the Blue Heat come into town on the heels of their loss last Friday. And they'll go with the 4-4-2. The goalkeeper is Cynthia Jacobo. The back 4, Sydney Vermillion. The final, she did that all before the age of 21. Sit down. On her left. Weaker foot, but it's a good cross to the back post. And Veronica Perez puts the Sounders women on top. And he sits back possession again. LaRue, she's in. Jacobo way off her line. Will LaRue try the first shot? No, takes her touch, and the right-footed blasted over. Fantastic chance. All trying to take it at the University of Michigan. That forehead short, goes long. Gonna test Solo, who tips it over the bar. And short to Boret. A better ball, tipped away, Rapino on the back post, and it's cleared off the line. Lindsay Johnson was there. Washington product. Through is to Morgan. The diagonal makes it work. Morgan has LaRue on the back post. She looks to pass, and LaRue with the finish. She's onside, and the Sounders have a 2-0 lead. Sounders are seeing that high line for Santa Clarita, making it simple, playing it over the top and using the speed. Here's Rapinoe now, couple runs in the box. Rapinoe to LaRue! And it's 3-0 to Seattle. Sydney LaRue finds her national team. Poked away by Winters. She's been there all day long. Now here's Alex Morgan. Can she get her goal? Has LaRue on the backside, but she shoots down the near post, and it's Alex Morgan. 4-0 Sounders.
We were disappointed with our last outcome. I think, we had some momentum in that last second half, though, so I think we felt good. And it's just easy adding the national team players, and they just bring so much athleticism. And, I think that really at halftime, coaches said some things, and we were just able to make some changes and really capitalize. And I know that took some pressure off our back line.
Now, there's so much talk about national team. Let's put quotes around that. National team players, and that's the Olympic teamers, certainly, Hope Solo, Alex Morgan, massive names. But you're right in there, and as you see, we can tell on our broadcast that level of play, you're right on that same level. You showed from the back being able to just cut out every one of their attacks. It's got to be nice to have played with everybody together. You're kind of the linchpin between those that haven't played together with the Team USA and those that have.
Yeah, definitely. It's disappointing not being named to the Olympic roster, but I know it's just great to be able to have a place to play, and I've had the benefit of getting to know all of the other girls, and I definitely feel like I'm a little bit of a go-between. I can help, just the communication and just the transition, because it is different, even though it's the same game, different players, and I know that for myself, I definitely feel more comfortable having been here, the last month consistently, knowing the girls, being familiar. I think Kate and I just work so well there in the back together, and it just feels great.
Now, one of the opportunities, actually an assist from Alex Morgan to Sydney LaRue, but you got it started. Also still being able to play a little bit more of a contributor on the offensive end from the center midfield or center defensive role. How's that worked for you?
Yeah, I knew that I wasn't going to be able to get off any shots at center back. I was kind of working that in the last couple games at outside back. But, there was a lot of space in behind, and I know that I could just drop it in there. And, that probably wasn't the prettiest ball, but Alex is so fast that it doesn't really matter. You get it over the top, and she's on sides, and, good things are going to happen.
I think all these fans here, of course, are excited about Sounders football, but they're really excited about the U.S. team as well. So it was a great send-off. We had a huge crowd going into London. I think there's a lot of excitement. So I just want to say thanks to all of our fans. Thanks for our Sounders organization for welcoming us in. It was a great ride, but it feels like we just started. I can't believe we're done. I wanted to play playoffs and win a championship. So it's a little doesn't feel like we finished business.
But obviously, with so much more on the horizon, national team, and maybe even next year for Seattle here as well. You never know, right?
You never know. Let's hope so.
Once we kind of figured out what we needed to do to be successful, it was a much better game to watch and be a fan of. I think they gave us a little bit of trouble in regards to how we were going to get through them and behind them, but figured it out.
Definitely having smart players, having a smart coaching staff, and being able to piece that all together. But you can really see the dynamic of really intelligent players on the field making those adjustments. The Veronica Perez's, Keelan Winters, and then the back line looked really good today in comparison to Wednesday as well.
Right, and what I love about what you just said is that it's all the players that have been here the entire season. So, with VP and Keelan and their leadership in the midfield, it's just when they get the ball, we're a much better team. And then the moving Steph into the center back position, it was just another step up in leadership of, I think, being a little bit calmer on the ball and being able to play out of the back. So, those high-level players show why they're so good at what they do.
And then obviously up front, Alex Morgan, Sydney LaRue. They're going to make a lot of teams look kind of foolish like they did here today. But what's that like looking from the sideline? You were one of those players as well back in the day, and to see those guys with their dynamic play on the field.
Right. It's one of those things where they make any ball you give them look like a great ball. So if you can find the time and have the right touch to be able to play those players, magic usually happens. So it's fun to play with those kind of players because, like I said, any ball you give them, you're like, it's potential to score a goal. So it's exciting.
We asked Hope about her thoughts, and she said, it seems like it came a little bit too short, like she's already taking off. What has Hope Solo meant to this team this summer?
You know, I think she defines everything that is Northwest soccer, you know, whether it's an attitude, whether it's a desire to come back here and play. She's represented the Northwest extremely well, both, you know, around the world, and also just being here shows a lot in regards to how much she really appreciates where she came from. So aside from leadership, experience, you know, how good she is in the goal, I think the biggest thing is the kind of person that she is, and I think that's been invaluable to us.
So the Sounders women with a 4-0 victory over the Santa Clarita Blue Heat. The Sounders looking fantastic out in the sunlight here today on the Sunday afternoon matchup and getting the 3 points with style. Goals from Sydney LaRue, a couple of those, a goal and an assist from Alex Morgan, and 2 assists from Megan Rapinoe. Hope Solo gets the shutout before she heads off with the Olympic team, and just about a month of play here before the Olympics kickoff for Team USA. Well, it really felt like a celebration atmosphere here at the stadium today with all the goals, the shutouts, the fantastic stuff, and the crowd, of course, continuing to come out and show and voice their support for the Sounders women. Well, for all of our crew here, we want to say thank you for watching. Don't forget, the next time you'll see us here on the live stream is July 6th, but check out for radio. We'll have the matches for you live on 11:50 a.m. and 1150kknw.com for the radio streaming live online. And of course, all the news and notes and info on SoundersWomen.com. For all of our crew here today, myself, John Billings, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.